Arthur Brooks, President Emeritus with the American Enterprise Institute. He's with Harvard University, a contributing writer for The Atlantic, hosts the podcast The Art of Happiness with Arthur Brooks. And I know what you're going to tell me, that you have found some silver lining in this divided, cantankerous mess that the whole country finds itself in, and you have found a way for us to love each other, even though we're going to kill each other before we're able to do that.
I'm a broken record, I know it, Joe. But look, you host the most entrepreneurial show on television. And the one thing that we all know, every single person watching us, look, some of us are going to be disappointed. Some of us are going to be thrilled. I got it. But the truth of the matter is, anytime there is something like this going on in the country, just like anytime there's something like this going on in a business, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. And let me tell you, let me talk right now to the people who are listening to that last fantastic segment, really well reported, who are about to get really disappointed. I don't know who it's going to be because I can't call that. I'm not a pundit. But half the country is going to be bitter about this. And the other half is going to be really happy. That's an opportunity to show grace and start to bring this country back together again. So here's the call, because we're coming to Thanksgiving. If you're happy about what's about to happen in this election, and I very much hope that Donald Trump doesn't take this to these court, challenges in such a way that it drags on forever and it becomes this mess that is a fait accompli. That notwithstanding, we have to deal with this for another month. It's the wrong thing to do. But no matter what happens, if you're thrilled about what happens in this election, this is your opportunity to think of the person in your life who disagrees with you politically and that you love. And you're supposed to call that person and make amends with that person. And this is the month that we can actually do it because of this bitterly divided election. This is an opportunity that's entrepreneurial for all of us to mend our nation.
Jeez.
What do you think of that, Joe?
I think it sounds like a 12-step program and making amends and stuff. I could never get through that if I had to. Making amends.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And maybe you're going to be the one who's disappointed, and then there's somebody in your family who actually needs to make amends with you. By the way, you're lovable enough. It's not that hard.
But I will tell you one thing, and this is true, that we've had people on that I've tried to tell them, and they've like Barry Diller. He said that he understands now that maybe he was too strident, or maybe he thought that, he wanted everyone in the country to agree with his approach. We're going to have someone else later on today that's going to preach to us about how his values forced him to abandon his Republican principles because of his values. But that makes 70 million people feel like they're either stupid or feel like they are, completely amoral or have horrible values. We need to understand that people, look at elections and look at what they want for this country in different ways. And it doesn't make one person a really bad person if they have an opposing viewpoint. We may come to that because now we know how evenly divided it. Barry Diller said, right, Barry Diller said it was a fluke 4 years ago, and to see Trump get almost reelected made him very disappointed about half the country. And that's the kind of thing we need to get away from.
Completely. Look, that black and white thinking is a big problem. We have basically a two-party system, and you get one choice or the other unless you want to not vote or you want to vote for a third-party candidate, effectively throwing your vote away. I get it. And that means you make compromises, but we're grown-ups. We make compromises all the time. I don't go to the supermarket and say I'm only going to buy food if it has every single characteristic with every nutrient profile that I want. I'd starve to death. And so to say that because I'm voting for somebody, I'm morally reprobate simply means I think that this guy is somewhat better than that guy. That's an adult thinking. And the black and white morality of this thing to disenfranchise the morality of 70 million people is a big mistake. It's time to make amends, to understand that we have different ways to try to get around the same basic mission in this country. We want to lift each other up. We want the country to come together. 93% of Americans hate how divided we become as a country. It's time for us to strike back against the outrage industrial complex, that 7% that's getting rich and powerful and famous by driving us apart. But that's not to say that because you wanted one candidate or another that you're morally reprobate. That's a mistake.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.